people are hyped for BFA, but the faction conflict thing, I think that a lot of people are kind of tired of, because there have been so many, it feels like it's a forced thing. And maybe that's just because Sylvanas turned into a plot device, but overall, I would say that, you know, people weren't as hyped for BFA as they were for Legion, I would say. Actually, I don't know. Let me think about that. What do you guys think people are more hyped for? Marvin's Bucket, thank you for 5 gifted community subs. I appreciate that very much, man. What do you guys think? I would say maybe Legion. Because the thing is with Legion, a lot of people were really excited for the expansion to come out. With BFA, a lot of people were not happy about Azerite gear. The only thing Legion really had that was bad, that a lot of people were upset about, was the, what do you call it? The legendaries. People obviously didn't like the legendaries. But other than that, everything in Legion people were pretty excited for. So I think that was a big change. And also, I mean, we got World Quests in Legion and a couple of other things too. And I think people will be just as hyped if Blizzard wants the players' benefit of the doubt over time. Well, the thing is that they kind of got that benefit of the doubt back with Legion. Like a lot of people, I don't know about you guys, but a lot of my friends told me whenever Legion came out, they're like, this is Blizzard's last chance. You know, if they bring out a second expansion that's bad, I'm going to stop playing the game. And I think that's basically what happened. So whenever Legion comes out, and it's actually pretty good, a lot of people probably don't know what the fuck to do. So whenever BFA came out, everybody was like, okay, yeah, this is going to be fine. Because, you know, Legion was good, and they had gained a lot of that player trust back that they had previously lost whenever they brought out fucking WoD. You know what I mean? Anytime I try and evaluate expansion, first thing I question myself, what in-game content progression curve is like. Since Dragon Soul, it's been completely destroyed. Well, yeah, it has been completely destroyed since Dragon Soul, and what a surprise, that happened at the same time as LFR. No, you're totally right. The in-game progression curve is completely ruined. The way that I've always judged expansions, and this is kind of stupid, but I've judged them on the amount of time that it took between the expansion releasing and me masturbating, and I basically decide if that's a good expansion or not. Because, like, if I'm jerking off, like, literally, like, the first day of the expansion, I obviously don't really care about it that much. But if I'm sitting there just farming this shit out, waiting back and forth, you know, just doing everything in the game, I don't even have time to jack off. Like, I remember whenever fucking Diablo 3 came out, man, I was like fucking celibate for 2 weeks or something. Right? There was nothing. I wasn't looking at porn. I wasn't even thinking about titties, right? I didn't even want to fight the spider boss because it would give me impure thoughts. And then I'd stop thinking about loot. You know, I didn't want to think about that at all. I want to think about only just doing the cooking game. And are you suggesting a new Blizzard QA policy? Well, actually, that is kind of a factor. I forgot actually to mention that. It's very much a factor. Wait, where are they? Oh, they're going over there. Shit, I didn't even realize that. But that being said, I do want this to happen. I mean, everybody wants the expansions to be good. I feel like there are very few people that actively look forward to WoW not doing well. And I think that's something that everybody needs to remember. Is that it's not like everybody just wants WoW to die and everything like that. The truth is that people just don't really... they're just not very happy with the current state of the game. I think that's really what it comes down to for everybody. Every single expansion, a lot of people come back to the game. Can I get that? If you don't need that, that's a big one. That's a really, really big one, if I could get that. Let me pull these over here. Why do people either love or hate Mists of Pandaria? Your take? Because of the theme. It's because of the theme, that's why. Like, the reason people dislike Mob... Alright, so there are 2 reasons why I really, really dislike Mob. For one, I'm also another person. I thought the theme was stupid. I don't think it should have happened. It was dumb, and I didn't like it. Alright? It's just really that simple. But that being said, I don't think that that Mists of Pandaria was the worst expansion ever. There were a lot of very good things about Mists of Pandaria. And guys, if that's coming from me, you know it's fucking true. Because I hate Mists of Pandaria. And I'm still saying that it was pretty good. The truth is, like, Mists of Pandaria had a lot of positive things, but it also had a lot of negative things too. I think that's really the only thing. And also, another really big factor with Mists of Pandaria is it was the first expansion. This is like the worst thing about it, in my opinion. It was the first expansion to really integrate LFR and catch-up mechanisms into the game to the point where it invalidated all of the other content that was previously in the expansion. And like whenever TOT came out, for example, there was no reason really to go back and do Rogushan Vaults or Heart of Fear. It just completely invalidated all of that content. And that happened because of a number of reasons, but some of the biggest reasons for that, obviously... Oh, fuck. Am I gonna aggro these? No, I'm not. Okay, good. Monks are in a better addition to the game than DKs and Wrath, though. I feel like DKs are much better into the game than Monks. In my opinion, though, I know this, like, I kind of wish they hadn't, like, retconned all of the DK stuff, right, and changed it. Not really retconned, but just changed it. I would actually have liked to see, Death Knights become a Horde-only race. Or a Horde-only, class. And, make Paladins Alliance only, instead of Shamans. I would have liked that a lot. You guys say, what the fuck, but that's how... Oh, listen, man, I grew up playing Warcraft 2. And like, DKs were, like, the Horde-only, the Horde... I guess, like, component for, instead of Paladins, right? Like, Horde had DKs and Paladins, were for Alliance. And so, yeah, Warcraft 3. Now, it's Warcraft 2, I'm pretty sure. Unless maybe they changed that for Warcraft 3 as well. I don't remember that very well. Okay, here we go. Let's make this happen. Alright, boys. Alright, straw poll. Alrighty, just give me 1 second. I'll pull this up, and, we'll take a look at what we've got here, alright? Yes, you can? Okay. Which was better? And I'll give you guys my opinion whenever I do the poll, right? I don't want my opinion to influence the vote here. There you go. There's the poll. All right, boys. Tell me what you think. Let me know what you want. Equal? Well, I mean, that's kind of like an assumed one, right? Or you can just, like, not vote. If you think they're equal, then just don't vote. I think that's the simplest way of doing things. Okay. So this is really right down to the fucking wire. Link again. I'll link it again. Let's look at every single component of the game. And then we'll kind of base things around there. My opinion. Recency bias? It would be the opposite. People tend to look back at, like, previous things that are, like, a really long time ago and only selectively remember the good parts about them. And so, if anything, Mop would have actually gotten an advantage there. So, let's talk about the raids. Alright, so, obviously, Throne of Thunder is the best raid that came out of both expansions. Nighthold was amazing. Emerald Nightmare, I thought, was good. I know that's an unpopular opinion, but I do. Trial of Valor, great. Tomb of Sargeras, besides Mythic, it was incredible. I love Tomb of Sargeras besides Mythic. Antorus was a solid... Antorus was I think it was equal to Siege of Orgrimmar. Right? Like, just... Antorus, Siege of Orgrimmar, same fucking thing, same rating. They're both like a 7 or an 8 out of 10 rate. Okay? That's basically the way that I look at it, right? Let's see. What's this, effing again? I'll see if hopefully this won't continue. I don't know why I'm effing at all. So anyway... Let's see, can you do a WoD versus BFA poll? A WoD versus BFA poll? I mean, like, I would. My concern with that is this. It's so popular to hate on BFA that people hate on BFA for things that are irrational. You know, it's like there's no... Like, they'll just be like, well, I don't like BFA because I have to run the same dungeon over and over. But they like Legion and it had Mythic Plus too. You know, it just, like, doesn't make sense. I feel like it's like, yeah, do it? Alright, I'll do it. Let me get over to this next room and I'll do it, okay? Actually, I'll just do it right now. Fuck it, okay. Give me a second. I'll just keep leeching. Which? Okay, we'll see, guys. Just vote honestly, okay? Don't fuck this around. Just vote honestly. Tell me what you really think. And, I want to have your honest opinion. Try to take out, like, any bullshit about it. But just, I want the honest opinion here, boys. Real shit. BFA has its problems. Everybody knows that BFA has its problems. That being said, to compare it to WoD is to give Blizzard a pass on some of the biggest mistakes they've ever done. WoD was terrible in so many ways that I don't think that you can compare it to any expansion ever. At least I hope that's the case forever. Wrath of the Lich King versus BC. Well, we'll look at that at later on. But the point here, obviously, BFA, according to my chat, is better than WoD. I agree with that. I think BFA is substantially better than WoD. WoD had a lot of problems. So, alright, let's look at Legion. I think Legion versus MoP is probably a much better conversation. So, for PvP, I think that MoP was better. I just think it was better. I think it was better than Legion. Now, the main reason for that, though, this might sound odd, the main reason for that is because of the stat templates. I think the class design and everything in Legion and MoP was like, I don't know, it's like both of them have their advantages and disadvantages. I can't really say which one's actually better or worse than the other. Legion was slow point in PvP in WoW's history. Legion was the lowest point in PvP in WoW's history, I would say. It was absolutely terrible. MoP PvP was terrible. Do you remember Symbiosis? Well, the reason why a lot of people... like MOP PvP is because a lot of the main PvPers out there, it was very friendly towards like high-end players. So if you were really, really good at the game, you loved Mists of Pandaria. You thought Mists of Pandaria was awesome. Why is that? Because in Mists of Pandaria, you had such a high skill cap on your class that you could do all of these other things that other people didn't even know existed. You see what I'm saying? So obviously, with that being the case, you're going to have all of the high-end PvPers saying that Mists of Pandaria was amazing, but that might not necessarily have been the case for the majority of players. So I think that the reason why a lot of chat says that is because they're just parroting the opinions of, you know, whoever they watch, and, you know, basically they're just taking that person's opinion and making it their own. And so I don't know. I think in some ways, obviously, it was good. In some ways, it was bad. But, oh, wow. I can't get used to just seeing 405s drop from Mythic, dude. That's so fucking ridiculous. I don't know what it is, right? Never thought of it that way? Yeah. Well, that's what I'm saying, right? Is that, like, because a lot of the, like, public thought and everything is kind of shaped by what the people in the community say, right? Like, noteworthy people in the community say. Like, the amount of times that I hear people saying, like, exactly what I used to say with, like, storm mounts or whatever. Like, literally, word for word, what I said. It's because they probably watch my stream, right? I mean, like, let's be honest. And it's very, very common. And people do that with everything. It's the same as, like, on TV or in any community. There are people that are basically the thought leaders of the community that influence the way that the other, like, 80% of the player base thinks. And, or player base or user base or population thinks. That's just the way that things go. And that's life, okay? Wad? Yeah, very humble. Well, I mean, it's not about being humble. You said previously you were thinking about enabling TTS. Did you decide? I haven't really thought about it at all, honestly. Ignoring the fact that WoW is by far the most expensive game on the market, but it lacks content. So, yeah, I mean, I think that's true. I mean, WoW is expensive, and I do think that if they made it free-to-play, it would be... If they made WoW free-to-play, and they made it to where you could play it on your phone, I think that it could be as popular as Fortnite.